So you can't just include your stats. That's just like, surface, not impressive. You have to include who you're playing, what you're doing, and what makes you better than that other pitcher. I feel like this is the best advice that I could give you to stand out when you are A, emailing coaches, B, posting on Sports Recruit or your Twitter or social media. Whatever you're using to sell yourself, this is the best advice that I think I could give you at this moment to stand out. Hey pitchers, Jamie Southern here, wanting to talk this month about recruiting and camps. This is a busy time where we're at our tournaments. There's tons of college coaches watching, possibly depending on what age you are. And colleges are having their camps and their clinics. So we are going to touch this month on the what to do's, the don't do this, everybody does it, and how to stand out and how to really make a name for yourself during the games as well as camps and when you are emailing out to college coaches. So today we're going to talk about what is the best way to record our outings at these tournaments and what is the best way to get them to the college coaches. So we know that there's a ton of nationals. Some of you just finished the Colorado tournament and there's things all over the country. But what is the best way? College coaches get hundreds of emails and you have to know how to stand out within that 2-3 minutes that they are looking at your Sports Recruit video or if they're looking on Twitter, and you have to make it where it is easy to see you pitching, it's easy to see your pitches so that they are engaged. So what that means is when I would receive emails from pitchers, I would click on their Sports Recruit link and I would go to their videos, okay? The videos that I loved were the ones where they were up close, where I could see their mechanics. I could see their movement of their pitches from behind is usually the best. Even from behind the pitcher is still depending on which pitch. But sometimes from behind, it's like you can really see that cut or the break on the ball. What I didn't like was the videos from your games. Now, I know that everybody does it, but from the coaching side, it's very hard to see who you are. I cannot see your mechanics because you're like this little. I can't even see your pitches because it's so far away that I don't know. I know it's an outside pitch. Was it a curveball? I can't see the break. I don't know what pitches you're really throwing because I can't see. Like, I don't know, is it a rise ball because the video is this high and so you can't see the height of the pitch really? Those are hard. I don't even click on them because it just frustrates me. So I usually go on the ones where they're just like in their lessons, they're in the bullpen and I can really see who they are. I can slow their videos down. It says rise ball and I'm watching their rise ball or I'm saying, oh, it's not really a good curveball. You know, like I get to know who you are. So the best way to do that is to film some bullpens, not all, but give me some excitement, give me some examples of your pitches. Also, at these tournaments, these big tournaments where the other teams have their recruiting sheet, parents walk over, take a picture of it. See if there are any players on the opposing team that have signed to go play somewhere. They'll have like the logo on there, or it'll say like Nebraska, or it'll say Nebraska, and your daughter is pitching against her. Film the entire thing. Don't just post like, oh, she struck out. I want to see who you are as a pitcher. So I need to see like, what do you start with? How do you use your changeup? Do you have a changeup? Maybe the batter gets a single her first at bat, and then the second at bat, you label that second at bat, you strike her out. And I'm like, dang, okay. So she came back, she figured out a way to get her out. The third at bat, she gets a weak ground ball to the shortstop and they get her out at first. So I'm looking at that, I'm like, dang, she can hang with somebody that's gonna play at Nebraska? That's somebody that I wanna start to watch now. So if you have some of those clips and those videos on your sports recruit, now I'm like, okay. Because when you're showing me strikeout after strikeout after strikeout in a game, I'm like, who are these players? I don't even know what level the team that you're playing really is. So it's very helpful because college coaches know that they're going to face Nebraska. So they're like, gosh, she can hang with this player that's going to play there, then she definitely could hang with us. So that's something that people don't do. I don't know why, but it's super helpful. And you have to write that. Let's talk about like the sports recruit or your Twitter or wherever you're selling yourself. You have to write that. Like, hey, we faced this batter. She is a Fullerton commit or Long Beach commit. And you're like, this is what these batters did off of me. She was 1 for 4, 1 strikeout, 2 fly balls or something. And let the college coaches know. So now we're like, okay, we get to know who you are a little better. In your sports recruit, in the little paragraph that you guys always kind of write, like, oh, I'm like really determined and I've played softball my whole life and I love it. I read them because I feel like it's a way to get to know you better. But I think there needs to be a little bit more depth to it. So I get to know who you are, maybe personality wise. Like, are you somebody that's shy? Are you somebody that's going and like brings out the best in your teammate? It's okay, but any way that the coaches can feel like they can get to know you, then that just opens that up where you're already standing out amongst the others because they feel like they know you better. But in those paragraphs, I would also talk a little bit more about who you are as a pitcher. Who are you as a pitcher? Like this is what I throw. These 3 pitches are my go-to. I'm really trying to develop a good rise ball that gets the batters to swing more. It's just a little bit high now. I have the spin, but I'm just working on getting it down. Tell the college coaches who you are. They don't expect you to be perfect. This is what I like to use a little bit when I'm trying to get ahead. My strikeout pitches tend to be these 2 pitches. I use my rise for a setup to then go down and out. Let them get into you a little bit more. And you'll feel like then if they like what they see, then that next step is maybe a phone call when it's that time. You're going to have some great conversation because you're already past step 1 within those paragraphs or within your emails. Then you're a little ahead of the game because the coaches know you versus them asking on the phone conversation, so who are you as a pitcher? How would your friends describe you? You're already past that. So you're developing relationships quicker and easier by putting that out there. So same thing, like we talked about sports recruit. You can do this in your emails. Let's look at the typical email is like, hey coach, good win on Saturday. Good luck with your games. We're playing at this tournament. Last tournament, I pitched this many innings and had this many strikeouts. Cool. Like, I don't know who you played. I don't know, did you pitch 3 innings in every game? There's so many questions, and so stand out. Meaningful stuff that they can say like, oh, dang. Okay, this is who we played on this team. There are these 3 batters that are legit, already committed, or this team is ranked number 5 in the country and we lost to them 3-2, but oh my goodness, this is what I did on some of the top batters in the country. So now it's like, dang. So you can't just include your stats. That's just like, surface, not impressive. You have to include who you're playing, what you're doing, and what makes you better than that other pitcher. I feel like this is the best advice that I could give you to stand out when you are A, emailing coaches, B, posting on Sports Recruit or your Twitter or social media. Whatever you're using to sell yourself, this is the best advice that I think I could give you at this moment to stand out, minus getting it done on the field if they're there watching you. But to communicate through social media or technology, this is the best. You have to draw out that game and you have to draw out those at-bats. You have to show us closer up who this batter is that you're facing. This is gonna be a good month. I know life in summer is so busy. You guys are going every weekend somewhere. So make sure that you subscribe so that you're in the loop with it, because I promise you'll learn something and think about things differently every single week with every single video.